You want to leave me? Huh? My men? Cowards? You cowards can leave whenever you wish. Where are your daggers? You break my heart, you men. Men of Macedon. I'm not going to stop you from leaving. You have betrayed me, forgotten how I treated you. Let me remind each and every one of you what kind of men you were originally. Before me or my father Philip found you. I must remind you of how you have been transformed since you came into our service. My father King Philip found you as vagabonds, poor men, with nothing, clad in hide, tending sheep, clinging to the life at the edge of mountains, living at the mercy of the Illyrians, Tribalians, and the Thracians, barely able to defend yourselves. Instead of those cheap hides, my father gave you cloaks to wear. He, King Philip, led you from the edge of those mountains to the plains, to the wealth of the plains. Made you capable and strong enough to fight the neighboring barbarians, so that you were not slaves to their mercy. Because of him, you started living in cities with humane laws and customs. You wretched cowards. You want to leave. You want to leave me. My father transformed each one of you from slaves and mere subjects to rulers over those same barbarians that had plundered and ravaged your property, violated your spouses, violated your children, violated your lovers, and even violated you. My father King Philip added the greater part of Thrace to Macedonia, gaining the best ports to allow trade for abundance and prosperity. For whom? You! He made you rulers over the Thessalians, of whom you had formerly been in mortal fear. He made it easy to go to Greece, and now we rule over the Athenians and Thebans, who once threatened the freedom of each and every one of you Macedonians. With myself joining you and being a part of this war, no longer are they allowed to take tribute to Macedonia. Now they rely on us for protection. My father fixed the land of the Peloponnese and their problems, with them declaring him as the commander-in-chief of all the Greeks, the expedition against the Persians, this glory not just for himself, but for the good of all Macedonians. This all my father Philip has done for you. Great, massive achievements on its own. But even then small compared to what I have done for you. Small if compared to what you have gotten because of me. I am Alexandros. I am your king. King Alexander the Great. Remember this. Do not forget. This is my empire. Heaven cannot have two sons, nor earth two masters. And I and only I rule over it. You want to question me? You want to question my powers as your king? I am a hurricane, and I am the one who has given you this world. You want to question me, the emperor of the known world? I have taken you Macedonians further than my father ever dreamed. Conquered lands that most of you had only read of, heard about, never seen. We are here today as Macedonians, free men. When I inherited this kingdom from my father, it could barely support you. Yet I laid before you this balanced passage of the Hellespont, even though the Persians control the seas. I defeated the viceroys of the great King Darius. A mere thousands of us have defeated hundreds of thousands of Persians and barbarians. We continue to be outnumbered, but we continue to conquer and defeat our enemies. Why? The enemy, the Persian soldiers, fight as slaves to the Darius. But you, every single one of you, fight as free men. I am not afraid of an army of lions led by a sheep. I am afraid of an army of sheep led by a lion! I would rather die than let them take our freedom. Fight with me. The honor a man can ever achieve is to live with great courage. I will be remembered as a hero, as the greatest king that ever lived. Each moment free from fear makes a man immortal. Conquer your fear, and I promise you, you will conquer death. For the freedom and glory. For the freedom and glory! Zeus is with us. Achilles and Patroclus are with us. My Hephaestion and I are with you. My men, how quickly have you forgotten? And you question me? I made you rulers of Ionia, Aeolus, Phrygia, and Lydia, and took my leaders by siege. I gained my voluntary surrender, and I gave you the wealth I found in them. All the riches of Egypt and Cyrene, which I won without a fight, are yours now. Syria, Palestine, Mesopotamia, Babylonia, Bactria, and Susa all belong to you. The wealth of the Lydians, the treasures of Persia, and the jewels of India are all yours. Whole of the external sea, you are now satraps, generals, and captains. What have I kept for myself? Only this cloak and diadem? Nothing. I have taken nothing myself. I paid for your bastard children. Not one man can point out my riches, only the things I'm guarding on your behalf. And what would I do with all these treasures anyway? My men, you want to abandon me? I eat what you eat. I get the same exact amount of rest that you do, same amount of sleep. I don't even think I fare as well as those among you who live luxuriously. I have spent the whole night on watch so that you can sleep well, so that you can sleep peacefully. I have conquered with you. I have wept with you. I have mourned with you. Who here thinks they have worked harder for me than I have for him? Come. You have wounds. Strip, show me. I will show you mine. Not a single area on my body. There's no part of me without a scar or a bone broken. Scars from every kind of weapon you can think of. My body is covered with it. I have been cut with swords in close fight, shot with arrows, missiles from engines of war, even stones and bolts. All for the sake of your lives, your glory, and your wealth. By sword, knife, stone, catapult, and club, I've shared every hardship with all of you. And here I am, still leading you. As conquerors over all the land and sea, all rivers, mountains, and plains, we celebrated our weddings together. The children of many of you will be cousins to my own. You had debts, which I paid off. Never asked you the reasons for them. And on top of that, you're paid well. And each of you carry away treasures from every city we conquer. So many of you now wear golden crowns, medals of courage and your valor, honors that you have received from me. The ones that have died who met a glorious end, we honor them with splendid burials. Macedonia is now full of those we have immortalized with bronze statues. I have made sure their parents are held in high honor, released in public service, and pay no taxes. You still want to question me? Under my leadership, not one of you has been killed fleeing the enemy. And here I was intending to send home those of you that are wounded or disabled or grown old to be welcomed as heroes. I should have sent you veterans home soon, and I will, to be respected, rich, loved. But I guess all of you want to go now. Then leave. All of you, depart. And you, as well as I know, that as the years decline, memories stale, and memories of your great victories fade, it will always be remembered that you left your king in Asia. Go home and report to our people that your ruler, your emperor, your King Alexander, conqueror of the Persians, Medes, Bactrians, and Scythians, who is now also the ruler of Uxians, Arakotians, and Drangians, who also acquired the rule of Parthians, Chorasmians, and Hyrcanians, as well as the Caspian Sea, who ferociously marched over the Caucasus through the Caspian gates, mountains of the Hindu Kush, who has crossed the rivers of Oxus and Tanais, even the Indus, which has never been crossed by anyone else except Dionysus himself, who has also crossed the Hydaspes, Assassines, the Hydrates, and if you had not cowered in fear, would have crossed the Hypaces too. Alexander the Great penetrated into the Great Sea from both the mountains of the Indus. Who crossed the desert of Godrosia, where no one has crossed with an army before, conquering Carmania and Oritians, Alexander's fleet sailing from Persian Gulf, from India to Persia. What is the point of a long life I lived in fear? Making a difference to none. I know what I choose. I would rather die fighting for glory, slave to none. A short life, but one that echoes for eternity as the bravest men to have ever lived, changing the world for the better. Fortune accompanies the brave, and all I've asked of you is one more month. And you're afraid. Afraid? Of course you have fears. We all have fears, because no one has ever gone this far before. And now we are weeks from encircling the entire ocean. Our route home will build a fleet of ships and sail all the way back down the Nile to Egypt. And from Alexandria, we shall be home within weeks. There, to be reunited with our loved ones, to share our great treasures and tales of Asia, and to enjoy our imperishable glory to the ends of time. But you want to go now, so close to the finish line. Go, leave, abandon your king. So when you reach home, you tell them, you report to them that after Susa you abandoned your king and ran away home, leaving him to the protection of conquered foreigners. And perhaps you'll be seen as glorious in the eyes of men and worthy in the eyes of the gods. For I will go on with my Asians. I look to the barbarians for their courage. So go home, you cowards, traitors, depart, leave. Go!